Hello and welcome to the Futurist 3D video training series. My name is Jeff Christiana and this is video number 22B of the Skeinforge 47 video series on how to use Raft. We're going to talk about the interface in this video. So under interface is the second upper part of the raft that is in contact with the printing object. It is usually denser than base layer and usually thinner. Interface layers are printed rotated 90 degrees to base layer, but they are all on top of each other. They form a grid with a base layer but not with themselves. So what that's going to do, it's going to print basically almost like an accordion. And if you're looking top down, it's going to continue to do this. So and then it's going to come back, it's going to print over the top of itself again. And then it's going to print on top of itself again. It's going to work itself. If you look at a side view, it's going to keep stacking on top of each other all the way up. So what you do is you grab onto it and you pull it off, and it kind of pulls it all off in one clean shot. I've had some really good success. I've had some poor success on pulling that off. Sometimes it adheres way too good to the upper surface. So let's take a look at each setting here. Interface feed rate multiplier. This parameter will allow you to change the default extrusion rate Skeinforge will use to print interface layer. The actual interface layer flow rate, speed of the extruder motor runs, will be speed over flow rate. Interface flow rate multiplier ratio. There's your feed rate, which is your XYZ, your flow rate, which is your extruder head. So interface flow rate multiplier. This parameter will allow you to change the default extrusion rate Skeinforge will use to print interface layer. The actual interface layer flow rate, speed the extruder modes will be speed over flow rate, interface flow rate multiplier ratio. Next one is interface infill density. This parameter set the ratio of the interface layer fill. Value of 0.1 means that it's only 10% of the surface will be covered, and the value of 0.9 means that 90% of the surface will be covered. So this one here will be set to 40% of the surface will be covered. Interface layer thickness over layer thickness. This parameter set how much fatter the interface layer will be comparative to the normal layer. So if you set here 1, the base will look the same, which it is, as the normal layer, but if you put 1.5 or 2, the base will be fatter. So interface layers integer, we're looking at 2, defines the number of interface layers to print. So that is the next step. So it's going to print a 1 and a 2 for every one. So we're going to go through and do this, and then it's going to come back through and it's going to do it again. So we're doing 1 for the base, and then we're doing 2 for the cross section. Interface nozzle lift over interface layer thickness ratio. With this value, you can modify the thickness of the interface layer. Value 1 will not press the layer in, but let it settle on its own. Less than 1 will press the filament a bit, and more than 1 will let it drop. So some curling might occur depending on the filament type. So we're using 0.3, and that so far has worked pretty good. So that is the interface layer. We've talked about the feed, which is your XYZ, your flow, which is your extruder, your infill, which is the density of how many lines actually touch your surface, and your layer thickness, which is perfect for this because you want it nice and thin, so you can pull it right out of there. And interface layers, I want 2 rows of that to make it easily removable from your object. And interface nozzle lift over interface layer thickness ratio for letting it settle, either push or settle on the top of the first layer, depending how strong you need it to be, and for easy removal. So 0.3 works the best. So we will see you in the next video. We'll be covering, or the next video, the name of alteration files. We'll see you then.